Welcome to Storytelling. A personal passion involves self-expression through various types of art, literature, or performance. For today's guest, I have my brother Sean talking about his passion for music and dance. A musician and jazz dancer, Sean shares his story about what fed his love, passion, and spirituality for music. Sean, tell me how you got into jazz dancing.
I actually remember the first time I was inspired to dance, and that was from my father. And we were downstairs in the front room listening to some music, and he encouraged me to do some dancing. And ever since then, when I was first shown, I actually stayed there with the vinyl kicking off for a while and dancing away. That really started a period in my life when I actually started to love music, and that's really what it's about. It was about loving the music at the time, and the infection that the music gave me filled me with so much energy, so much delight, that dancing was only an extension of the feeling that was created at that time. As the years rolled on, I got to meet other people that were interested in the same things that I were. But when I was 19, I met a friend of mine casually, a future friend, casually as I was walking through Greenwich. And he explained to me that he was doing some DJ nights in the Greenwich Tavern in a room that was up the top of a pub. And that was quite an interesting experience. It wasn't particularly a situation where there was lots of people that were turning up, but there was enough to make it a very interesting night. You know, we were good friends, and there were nights when he arranged to have people painting as we danced. I chiseled out my dancing during that particular period of time.
Just to be clear for everyone, you didn't have any formal dance training. This is something that you just learnt on your own.
No,
just going out there.
This is me being a child, growing up, having my teenage years in the 80s, experiencing those years, being a child, being a young man in the 90s, experiencing those years and absorbing the music scene at that time and loving music to such a point that it became an extension of myself. And it wasn't something that was limited to myself, but for me, definitely that's what it actually felt like. And going back to when I met my dear friend, Nick was his name, when he had those nights in the Greenwich Tavern, in that dark room at the top of that pub, we spent a good long time listening to some good music and cutting our dance styles. The other thing, you know, as I said, that love of music was very strong in myself, and it did get extended into other avenues. At the same time, there were such persons on the radio, such as somebody like a particular DJ, Giles Peterson, for example. He had a BBC program that was running during the early 90s, and the music that was played on his show was, you know, appealed to me. It was more straight ahead jazz. And I realized, you know, that was a good angle for me. And then along with that experience of dancing with my friend and in the Greenwich Tavern and listening to his radio shows during the late 80s and listening to the pirate stations, my love for music became magnified even more. Lo and behold, my love of music got so extended to such a point that I was an active musician during that time as well. One day, I was really going to a jazz jam at the Jazz Cafe in those days. This was on a Saturday, in fact, in Camden. And I was enjoying my afternoons during that time, but it was in one of those casual Camden days that I stumbled upon, and I literally did stumble upon, other jazz dancers during that period. I got involved in, I met other people that were as passionate about the dancing as I was. That was at Dingwalls before its great renovation. And I met some really beautiful people during that particular time who were doing jazz dancing, not only just jazz dancing to jazz, but dancing to jazz, soul, funk of a particular nature. Yeah, it was a great time. It was absolutely a great time. My passion and love for music was so strong that I know that I listened to lots of music, and I still do to this point. So much to such a degree that I can't even stop trying to remember.
Tell me more about the vibe at the time. How did it feel? What did it look like? How did it make you feel?
Well, when I was enjoying those moments at Dingwalls on a Sunday afternoon, I would say that the best way to describe it was musical ecstasy. It was almost like a spiritual moment as well. It was one of the few times in my life that I've actually met people on equal standing with great humor, great character. It was a time, as far as I'm concerned, not the only time, but it was a time when people got together with the sole intention of dancing, nothing more. It wasn't about going there to meet somebody. It wasn't there about to go there and take drugs. It wasn't there about anything else other than just to turn up and to dance. That was it. That was the main thing. And that was the main connecting thing. And when you get to that point when you are dancing, as we all did, it was almost spiritual, really. And I don't think it was unique to that particular scene. I mean, there were other things going on, in the 80s and 90s and in the various different clubs. But for me, it was nice to be able to go somewhere where none of the negative, distracting elements of club life was really there. It was really just simply about dancing, and that was it. You mentioned that you were also a musician at the time as well. Tell us about that and how it related and how it correlated with that scene at the time. During that time, funny enough, not too long ago, Chick Corea died, but his music was at that time a great jazz artist, but during that time he was playing jazz fusion music, and he was one of the many artists that jazz dancers actually danced to. So my connection with music incorporated the lifestyle as myself as a musician, and those musicians that were playing jazz at that time were being integrated to the jazz dance scene as well. And so you had, in some circumstances, artists like Chick Corea merged the two scenes. People like Norman Connors or Roy Ayers, these types of people were merging the scene. And so when they came to play in London, or even at the Jazz Cafe for that matter, you would have a certain section of the audience that were dancing to jazz music or jazz soul music or jazz funk music, whatever you want to call it at that time. It was a great marriage of the music scene, art scene, in my sphere, in my zone, with the people that I knew at that particular time. It's not something that everybody will at that time would have been aware of, because people were involved in their different tribal and music scenes. That was what was going on. So what was happening in the Jazz Cafe on a Saturday with the jazz scene, the musicians turning up, they had nights as well in the same place. Some of the DJs that I've met in the past, people like Giles Peterson. I have a dear friend of mine, Perry Lewis, who was one of the dancers that I actually knew at Dingwalls. In fact, I never surpassed his level of dancing, but he still DJs to this time, and he was playing at the Jazz Cafe as well. And so there was this great marriage of the music scene at that particular moment in time. But the great equalizer, as I've said, was the love of the music. It was just the love and the passion of the music that was driving you to be there. Yeah. What was your standout moment? I had many standout moments, but I guess one of the things that I enjoyed was that in 1991 there was a jazz dancing competition, one in which I met the organizer and he put this together. Somehow I managed to get myself on the roster. I went for a short period where I was concentrating on music and I wasn't actually 100% fit, but I turned up just at the right moment and I said, well, I'll get involved with it. He recorded it and he gave me a video. My dear friend Nick, I lent it to him and I never got the video back. But some years later, another friend of mine, a gentleman of name Russell Okamore, who has a jazz club that he runs on a weekly basis in Camberwell, he told me that he saw the very jazz dancing competition on YouTube. So I was able to see it again for the first time in years, and I was able to let my daughter watch it. It was great to see some of the familiar faces and some of the people that actually were there. And for me, it wasn't. It was just about being a part of that. To know that I was a part of that scene, and to have my daughter see that, and to see that scene at the time, and other people I knew as well. I mean, I showed those that particular day to other people, and it was nice. It was nice to see that flashback, and it was a good day. It was a very, very good day. So I would say, from an historic point of view, that was great. So yeah, I would say that was a standout moment. Main equalizer for me is the love of music, and that is the thing that has never died. I listen to music every day, all the time. I never get tired of it. It's a great love of mine for sure. Enjoy your passion and just get involved with life. Me being involved in that scene at that time made me get involved in life, made me get around London, made me get to meet some lovely, beautiful people, made me go walk through doors that I never would have ever thought about going through. But just because I was a part of something, just because I dared to just go, just to turn up and just go. And you don't know what's going to be there. You meet people that are just like you. You can walk through life feeling that you're the only person, and then through your own passion, you get to find that it's probably not as true as you thought. And there is other people that are just like you. But you got to get out there. You got to just follow your passion, follow your life, your life's dreams, and that's it.
Sean, thanks very much for sharing.
Thank you, Debbie.
Your passion in life is a reminder of what's most important to you. It allows you to find enjoyment in something that's all yours, and provides a deeper sense of meaning to your life beyond simply existing. What's your passion? Please feel free to share.